What's up everyone? Welcome back. In today's video, we have to talk about the current market conditions, because something interesting is happening. The NASDAQ dropped almost 3% yesterday after Jay Powell's speech left the retail markets in a panic, but big players were accumulating all throughout the day, while the rest of the markets were selling out of fear. That created some incredible opportunities which I took advantage of, and I'm gone. Now I'll share with you the trades I made, as well as show you why those buying opportunities will keep presenting themselves going forward. But before we get into that, make sure you guys subscribe. It's been an incredible year so far, and we're just getting started. Alright, so here are the two main points I want to address in today's video. Number one, we have to take a look at the current market conditions. There's some very interesting divergences taking place right now. And number two, we need to discuss cycles and why do these patterns repeat themselves over and over again. So let's start with point no. 1. The current market conditions. As you can see, the stock market was red across the board yesterday. However, there was a lot of fear being reflected in the NASDAQ drop. When we zoom out a little bit, we can see this is not unusual. In fact, this type of price movement is expected when the Fed starts to raise rates. Of course, you're going to have drawdowns along the way. And right now, it looks like we might be in one of them. But that's only if we ignore what the big money is doing. For example, let us take a look at this chart of the NASDAQ and where the smart money was buying and selling. And this data comes directly from the order flow of the tape, which means it gives us real-time information on what the big money is doing when they execute their orders. So, for example, if the big money is buying or accumulating in this area, then chances are that is going to become support. But if they are selling in this area, then chances are this is going to become resistance. So as you can see, at the beginning of the month, there was a huge amount of accumulation taking place. The big money was buying up shares in the NASDAQ, and then it became support, just like I had mentioned. Fast forward a few weeks later, and we can see there was a huge amount of distribution taking place, meaning the smart money was selling. And once again, just like I had predicted, this became resistance. And right now, we are getting yet another opportunity to accumulate. The big money has been net buyers of stocks in 4 of the last 5 days. Yesterday was the only day they were net sellers. This is how you know that drawdowns don't last forever. If we take a look at crypto assets, we can see a similar pattern is taking place. At the beginning of the month, there was a ton of accumulation. The big money was buying up Bitcoin and Ethereum, and then it turned into support, just like I had anticipated. A few weeks later, we saw a huge amount of distribution taking place. The smart money was selling their Bitcoin and Ethereum, and it turned into resistance. And right now, we're getting yet another opportunity to buy. The big money has been net buyers of Bitcoin in 3 of the last 5 days. Same thing with it, they've been net buyers in 4 of the last 5 days. And what makes this even more interesting is when we compare this data to the current market conditions, to the current market sentiment. As you can see, at the beginning of the month, when there was a huge amount of accumulation taking place, the market sentiment was extremely bearish. People were super negative on Bitcoin and the NASDAQ. Fast forward a few weeks later, the market sentiment is extremely bullish. Everyone is super bullish on Bitcoin and the NASDAQ. This is where having an anti-fragile mindset is key, because when everyone is feeling euphoric and greedy, that is when things usually crash. So my thought process is simple. If everyone is feeling euphoric and greedy, then I'm going to do the opposite. I'm going to feel fearful and bearish. I am gone now sell my stocks and my crypto assets, and I am gone now buy the dip. If everyone is feeling fearful and negative, then I'm going to do the opposite. I'm going to feel euphoric and greedy, and I'm going to buy the dip. This is why I believe the best trading strategy is to buy high and sell higher. On the surface, that sounds crazy, but when you understand the psychology behind it, it makes perfect sense. Now, I know what you're thinking. This all sounds great, Patrick, but how do we know when the market is going to crash? Well, that is where point no. 2 comes into play. We need to discuss cycles and why do these patterns repeat themselves over and over again. So let's take a look at the 4-hour chart of the NASDAQ. You will notice that there is a clear-cut cycle taking place. Every single time the NASDAQ tries to break above this blue line, it ends up crashing and burning. This is exactly what happened in 2000 and 2001. The NASDAQ tried to break above the blue line, but it crashed and burned. Look at this. Same thing happened in 2007 and 2008. The NASDAQ tried to break above the blue line, but it crashed and burned. And look at this. Same thing happened in 2020 and 2021. the NASDAQ tried to break above the blue line, but it crashed and burned. So right now, we are at a critical moment. The NASDAQ is trying to break above the blue line, but it crashed and burned. Now, this is where things get really interesting. So let me ask you a question. Do you think the 2022 bear market low was at 10,000? What about the 2020 bear market low or the 2002 bear market low? Well, if you said no, then you're correct. Those were not the bear market lows. Those were simply pullbacks within the larger trend. The actual bear market lows were right here, here, and here. So let me ask you another question. Do you think the 2022 bull market high was at 15,000? What about the 2020 bull market high or the 2001 bull market high? Well, if you said no, then you're correct. Those were not the bull market highs. Those were simply blow-offs within the larger cycle. The actual bull market highs were right here, here, and here. The NASDAQ is currently at a major inflection point. It is either going to break above this blue line and enter a brand new bull market, or it is going to crash and burn and enter a brand new bear market. I personally believe we are entering a brand new bull market. Here are the reasons why. The NASDAQ has violated the blue line multiple times in the past. Remember the dot-com bubble. The NASDAQ violated this resistance level multiple times before it finally broke above. Same thing happened in 2008. The NASDAQ violated this resistance level multiple times before it finally broke above. And guess what? It's happening again right now. Not only that, but we are seeing a similar amount of euphoria as we did back in 2021. Remember, euphoria is when everyone is overly optimistic and greedy. And right now, people are starting to feel that way again. All of this is to say that I believe the NASDAQ is about to enter a brand new bull market. And when that happens, all of these previous resistance levels turn into support levels. So here are the technical opportunities for the week. We could see support at 12,000, which is the previous resistance level. We could also see support at 11,600, which is the previous resistance level. And lastly, we could see support at 11,000, which is the previous resistance level. This is a great buying opportunity for the week. Now, I know what you're thinking, Patrick. You always talk about the NASDAQ, but what about crypto assets? Where do you see Bitcoin and Ethereum this week? Well, let's take a look. On the 4-hour time frame, we can see Bitcoin is following the exact same pattern as the NASDAQ. Bitcoin is at a critical moment. It is either going to break above this blue line and enter a brand new bull market, or it is going to crash and burn and enter a brand new bear market. I personally believe we are entering a brand new bull market. If we zoom out a bit, we can see Bitcoin has violated this resistance level multiple times in the past. Remember 2017 and 2018? The Bitcoin violated this resistance level multiple times before it finally broke above. Same thing happened in 2020 and 2021. The Bitcoin violated this resistance level multiple times before it finally broke above. And guess what? It's happening again right now. Not only that, but we are seeing a similar amount of euphoria as we did back in 2021. Remember, euphoria is when everyone is overly optimistic and greedy. And right now, people are starting to feel that way again. All of this is to say that I believe Bitcoin is about to enter a brand new bull market. And when that happens, all of these previous resistance levels turn into support levels. So, here are the technical opportunities for the week. We could see support at 47,000, which is the previous resistance level. We could also see support at 42,000, which is the previous resistance level. And lastly, we could see support at 38,000, which is the previous resistance level. These are great buying opportunities for the week. The same thing applies to we could see support at 3,600, which is the previous resistance level. We could also see support at 3,200, which is the previous resistance level. And lastly, we could see support at 2,800, which is the previous resistance level. And lastly, we have to talk about gold. Gold could see support at 1,800, which is the previous resistance level. And we could also see support at 1,750, which is the previous resistance level. Everyone, those are the technical opportunities for the week. If you guys enjoyed this video, please make sure you smash the like button. And if you haven't already, please make sure you subscribe. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time.